Hi, and welcome back to day 2 of the 5-day prenatal teacher training. Today, I'm so excited to dive into the element of earth with you and talk about how essential that is for prenatal teaching. But first, I just wanted to check in and see how you're doing with space, with inviting space into your body, your mind, your heart. You may even have noticed that just talking about it, just thinking about it, opens you up to new possibilities. We talked a lot about inviting it into the back of the body for pregnancy, so important for making space for baby. But also traditionally in yoga, this is our place of trust. When we're connected to our back body, we're connected to a sense that we are part of something bigger, that we don't have to make it happen by ourselves, that what's arising within us comes from a bigger place, and we can follow it like an inner GPS, what's interesting us, what's exciting us, what we're wanting. So space is really the foundation of all. It's the beginning of all. And as we go through these elements, they're not just in the order of importance, but they really allow for the next step. So what are these steps? I just want to take a moment to kind of talk about how we're going to use these steps in our teaching. So when we're talking about space, that's an element. And we also talked about the sort of spiritual experience of it, which was find the feminine. And we also talked about what in the body we're going to use in order to create this alignment with that part of ourselves. And that was the breath. So there's different ways we can refer to these steps, but I give them a bigger name, and I wanted to share that with you now. I call them the 5 sacred steps. Now, what does it mean for something to be sacred? It's certainly not like because I tell you it's meaningful or any outer meaning. If you think about if you lose your power and you light a candle, you just want light. But if you think about how you might feel if your little one is turning 1 and you're lighting that one birthday cake candle, it just has meaning, right? And it just has meaning because of what's inside you. So these steps that I'm going to be teaching you might not feel very sacred at first. They become sacred over time when you start to contemplate them, work with them in your practice, incorporate them into your teaching. You will see that they will just open up so much within yourself that in the beginning, it may feel a little odd to talk about these things in your class. But what then happens is it opens up that part of you and you find your unique voice just flowing with more ease. So that's why I love these. They also can serve as a checklist. So if you're in a pose and you're wondering, is this okay for my pregnant mama? You're going to go through these and just know that you are teaching the most safe, therapeutic, and transformative pose possible, because there's nothing else but the 5 elements according to yoga in the world, right? So you're covering it all. All right. Well, let's talk about this element of earth. So earth is really just the most stable, steady thing we know. And we have that within ourselves, this steadiness. The idea behind yoga really is that our center, called the mudya, the midline, is where steadiness lies. So when we talk about strength, we're not really talking about building it, although that'll happen. We're focusing more on learning to connect to it. Where is our strength? It's in our center. And so what happens when we draw into that strength with our muscles is we actually create these boundaries, right? So if you even just hold your arms up for a second and let them be like spaghetti, okay? So you can get a little stretch here. But if you hug in with your muscles, making your arms really straight and strong, you draw from the fingertips all the way in, so you're drawing into the center this way, and then you're even hugging into the midline like this. Now take a deep breath, lift your heart, And then on your exhale, root down and stretch, drawing the shoulders back, head back, reaching through the fingertips, lengthening upwards. So you can feel how creating these boundaries or these strong channels allows for prana, life force, energy to flow with more ease. So that's really what we're doing with our muscles, is we're creating these banks of a river. So within this, the river can flow. If you apply it to pregnancy, this is super important. And the reason is that pregnancy hormones, progesterone and relaxin, they cause instability in the joints. Why is this? Well, we have a joint right here, the front of the pelvis. It's the pubic symphysis. It's not like glued together, it actually moves. And the pregnancy hormones allow the pelvis to start to expand so that baby's head can fit out. Now, this is a very good thing. We want this. However, problem is these hormones affect every single joint of the body. And so part of being pregnant is really experiencing these aches and pains that come from the instability of the body expanding. So as prenatal yoga teachers, we can help our students become more comfortable, even find their strength, inner and outer strength, and be able to do poses they didn't think they could do by inviting them to connect to that earth stability within themselves. So that's how it all connects overall to pregnancy. We've been talking about, well, how do we create a class with these 5 sacred steps? So we started with this nice breathing, connecting to everybody, sharing, and then a nice centering meditation, allowing our hips to settle. And then we're going to start to move. And when we start to move, even sitting requires a little bit of what we call muscular energy, right? Engagement of the muscles. But definitely starting to be weight bearing on the wrists, even on the feet. We're going to have to learn how to instruct our pregnant mamas to support their growing baby and belly with their strength. So I'm going to have you go ahead and come into a pose that will probably, for some of you, maybe cause some pain right away. Definitely if you're pregnant, you might feel it. And so I'm going to get you out of it relatively quickly. But believe it or not, just hands and knees for a lot of pregnant mamas can cause pain in the wrist. So instead of just hopping into that, what I'd like you to do is instead come into what we call child's pose on fingertips. And knees are wide, big toes are together, you're up on fingertips, and you're lifting your arms and armpits. Take a deep inhale, expanding the back body, and then on your exhale, see if you can keep your armpits lifted and let your heart release toward the earth, and the head can follow. You'll notice your arms are having to do a little work. With each inhale, increase that work. Hug your elbows in, inner elbows, those lines inside your elbows, in toward each other, and lift your armpits so your shoulder blades hug toward each other, toward that midline. And see if that allows you to soften. You may even be able to walk your fingers forward a little bit. So we start from space. We create strong boundaries. And then we find we can feel even a little more space for breath, for baby, for our own deep wisdom. And then come on up. All right. So what we've just learned is this sense of drawing into our center, into our steadiness. Now we'll see if we can do that on hands and knees without pressing downward. Push your fingertips down until they turn white. Imagine I'm sticking a little piece of paper under the heel of your hand, and draw energy from the center of your hands up your arms into the upper back. Hug those shoulder blades toward each other, and then soften the chest. So your weight should be more fingertip and the roots of your fingers and the heel of your hands a little lifted. Good. From here, we'll do a prenatal version of cat-cow, which I call cat neutral. Exhale, look towards your belly. Push the floor away, round your back. On your inhale, instead of letting the belly kind of collapse, I want you to press your thighs back and get nice and long. Stick your booty way back behind you. So this is called cat neutral. And what's really nice about it is it's another chance to teach your pregnant mamas early in class that we're going to be using our muscles. This is not just like foo-foo, let's, flow and move. This is alignment-based yoga, which means it's therapeutic on every level. And so we don't want to be causing problems for our mamas. We want to be helping them heal. So fingertips pressed down. Take a deep inhale, expanding the back body. And on your exhale, let the chest soften. Now, this block that I placed between my inner thighs, if you have a block, feel free to do it with me. But squeezing the block is another way to create that earth energy. This time, it's for your hips, your legs, your thighs are active. I'm even spreading my toes, so I'm on the tip of my big toes. So what I want you to do here is same action of cat neutral, but this time your arms are hugging and your thighs are hugging, and see what happens. Exhale, round, and as you inhale, squeezing the block, move the block back. So because you're engaging your thighs by hugging them in, you can get so much more length in your lower back, so much more release in your deep groin muscles. One more time. Exhale, round it out. Inhale, lengthen it out. Press that block back. And you can play with coming forward to half dog, up on fingertips, armpits lift baby toward the back, right? Press the thighs back. So you're working both space with every breath and strength by hugging in. And the combination allows you to make even more space in every direction. These 5 sacred steps are so sacred to me because not just because they help me teach prenatal, not just because they help me teach yoga, not just because they help me in my own practice get out of aches and pains, but because they guide me in pretty much every aspect of my life. So let's say I'm sitting down to work on my book. And let's say I haven't started it yet. The very first step is opening up to possibility. So what's arising within me, remembering that it's bigger than me. The second step is creating some boundaries. This is important to me. I'm going to set aside this time in my day, right? Or, this is what this is, and this is not what it is, right? So that idea of just kind of choosing what you want to be part of your practice, your day, your life, and what you don't. So I encourage you to play with earth until I see you again tomorrow, creating some strong boundaries for yourself. Saying no can be very, very powerful, and it's basically saying, I'm going to wait until the universe offers up my yes. So thank you for being here. I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow.